What's up gamers, Cryptigo here, and welcome back to Lowering the Mark, a show where I analyze the current and former world records of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe time trial runs to see how these records get faster over time. We'll look at elements such as the loadout, racing lines, and mushroom usage to better understand what's bringing these times down. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to know when my videos go live. For today's episode, we're jumping back over to the original DLC side of things and taking a look at a criminally underrated course, Wild Woods at 150cc. Over 5 years ago, on May 4th, 2017, the world record for this run was set at 1 minute 50.646 seconds by the French player Swift. Fast forward to just over 4 months ago on January 13th, 2022, and the record was brought down to 1 minute 46.4 seconds by the Australian player Panda. That's a 4.2 second improvement between records and a 3.8% faster time. Our former world record holder Swift has broken 42 world records across 8 unique runs and has spent an impressive 924 days holding at least one world record. On the other side of the world is our current world record holder Panda, who's broken 189 world records across 27 unique runs. He's also closing in on 900 days holding at least one of his 12 current world records. At pre-release, this world record was a tad over 153, and within a few days it was already in the mid to low 150 range thanks to a smattering of French and Japanese players. Among them was Tourain, who after briefly battling Kai, went on a tear near the end of June, which resulted in the first 149 ever recorded. After K-Mech stepped in and took the record back, Kai and Tourain were back to trading records with themselves and a few other players. Tourain would eventually pull away and go on another tear, which resulted in yet another second break. His 148.8 stood as the record for over 300 days. Now, in 2019, Omei Mona stepped into the ring and dropped 15 consecutive records over the next 500 days and brought the record down by 0.6 of a second. 147 was just around the corner, and Japanese player Ruru would be the first one to grab that sub. He continued to bring that time down, but would eventually fall to Army, Shiranui, and Panda as they took the course and collectively took around 0.7 of a second off his fastest time. In total, the record was broken 84 times by 18 different players. These two loadouts here are surprisingly well matched. Swift goes with the old combo of Wario driving the Yoshi bike with the rollers and the Cloud Glider. Panda goes with Donkey Kong driving the Biddy Buggy with the Acer rollers and the Paper Glider. Right off the bat, these stats look pretty similar. When we look closer, we see that Swift has around a full point on Panda's top speed stat. He trails everywhere else though, but only slightly. Swift kept his acceleration and mini turbo stats within a point of Panda's, and his handling is only off by half a point. Now, we know Panda clearly has the better loadout, but the stats would suggest it's not by much, so we're left wondering how he took so much time off Swift's world record. Let's dive into it. Now, I've already said this, but this course is criminally underrated. There is never a moment where I've told myself that I don't want to race on Wild Woods. The layout is great, I love the theme, and the time trial for this course is pretty complex, but really satisfying to watch. Swift gets a rocket start out of the gate and bears right before drifting up to collect these 3 coins and a super mini turbo. He'll hit the left jump boost and then chain 2 more mini turbos together before grabbing the next jump boost that'll start S2. Panda uses his first mushroom right out of the gate and gets an extra mini turbo before grabbing the same 3 coins and super mini turbo. After he squeezes in another mini turbo, he'll hit the jump boost and chain 2 more of those before the next ramp. Using a mushroom right out of the gate like that builds a pretty decent lead, but those extra mini turbos that Panda got also played a role in that. He's up on Swift by 0.6 of a second going into S2. After this jump boost, Swift goes for this extremely tight super mini turbo in which he sneaks around the barrel before going off the glider. Once he lands, he'll start charging up a quick mini turbo to start S3. Panda also gets the jump boost and goes for this tight mini turbo. Once he gets around the barrel, he'll continue charging up until the ultra mini turbo off the ramp for a motion glider strat. Once he lands, he too will start charging this mini turbo into S3. Pairing the Ultra Mini Turbo with the Motion Glider like that is the main time save that Panda is going to take advantage of on all 3 laps. He's put another half second between him and Swift as he sits ahead by 1.1 seconds going into S3. Swift gets the Super Mini Turbo and Jump Boost off the first ramp, then does the exact same thing once in the water off the second one. He then grabs a quick Mini Turbo before yet another Jump Boost and hits the Lily Pad zippers on his way to the next ramp. After tricking off of it, he'll use his first mushroom to cut through the grass platform and grab one last jump boost to close out S1. Panda also gets the first 2 super mini turbos and jump boosts down the river before chaining a normal one near the third ramp. He'll ride across the zippers, grabbing 2 jump boosts before going off the ramp and doing that same shortcut but with no items. Just a single hop is enough for him to clear the grass and get the jump boost. He even fits in one more mini turbo before the end of the lap. Those extra jump boosts on the zippers, the longer lasting mini turbos, and him being able to no item that last shortcut are all reasons why Panda has already amassed a 1.6 second lead over Swift going into lap 2. Swift hugs the inside and gets his super mini turbo before going off the right ramp for a jump boost. He then chains a single mini turbo before grabbing 2 more jump boosts to close out S1. Panda also goes for the tight super mini turbo but sneaks in a quick normal one before this jump boost. After that, he chains another normal mini turbo before the 2 jump boosts to close out S1. Both players looked pretty similar there in terms of mini turbos and jump boosts, but since Panda's were longer lasting, he was able to slightly increase his lead over Swift to 1.8 seconds at the end of S1. Swift grabs the jump boost and then goes for the same tight super mini turbo around the barrel before tricking off the glider. Once he lands, he'll start drifting into S3 the same way he did on lap 1. Panda also gets the jump boost and starts his long ultra mini turbo around the turn. He'll use his second mushroom here for some reason and still gets the motion glider while in the air. I was actually able to replicate this one so you can all see what's actually going on. Right as Panda drifts off the glider, he pauses the game to turn on motion controls and flicks his controller to the left. Then, after a second or two, he turns motion controls back off and continues down to the bottom where he'll start drifting into S3, now ahead by a whopping 2.7 seconds. Swift goes through S3 the same way he did on lap 1. He gets the 2 super mini turbos and jump boosts before riding across the zippers to the next jump boost. After that, he uses his second mushroom to perform this shortcut and then comes across the line. Panda doesn't really change anything down the river, so we're going to skip to about right here. Let's break down how this no item shortcut happens. Panda gets the trick off the zipper and starts drifting off the ramp. He'll get another jump boost, and because of his positioning, he falls far enough to where he's right at the edge of this plank. That allows him to hop over the grass with just enough boost to make it across to the ramp and get another jump boost. As you can see, it takes perfect execution to pull this Nisk off, and for Panda, it's light work. After another quick mini turbo, he finishes lap 2, 3 seconds ahead of Swift, and outsplit his lap by over a second. For his final lap, Swift replicates his lap 2 approach. That starts off with this super mini turbo, then heads to the right for a few more jump boosts. Now on the wood path, he sneaks around the barrel one last time for a quick super mini turbo into a trick off the glider. Once he's at the other side, he'll chain his super mini turbos down the river and pair them with jump boosts as he prepares to take on the lily pad zippers one last time. To close out the race, he gets a jump boost and uses his final mushroom to make the cut and comes straight across the finish line. Panda also recreates lap 2 for lap 3. It starts off pretty similar to Swift's final lap with the mini turbos and jump boosts leading up to the wood path. Once he makes it there, he charges up his ultra mini turbo with the help of his last mushroom and motion gliders across the gap one final time, saving a huge chunk of time in the process. He follows that up with his super mini turbos and jump boosts down the river. Now ready for the zippers, he rides across all 3 of them and tricks off one before hitting his final no item shortcut of the run, paired with one last mini turbo to close out the race. He would cross the line with a time that was 4.2 seconds faster than Swift's former world record. So by getting longer lasting mini turbos, hitting the shortcut with no item, and motion glider, Panda was able to establish himself as the undisputed top dog of Wildwood's 150. He's taken nearly half a second off his initial 146.88 from just a few days prior. That's a lot of time to drop in such a short amount of time. Let's hear a little more from the guy. What was going through your mind when you broke this world record?
I was quite happy to get this world record.
Why is it faster to use your second and third mushroom just before the glider and no item the shortcut at the end of the lap?
Chaining the Ultra Mini Turbo from the mushroom at the glider is quite fast, and the Nisk itself is done well enough that shrooming here won't save time.
The best known sum time gives a 146.2. Do you think that flirts with a max world record, or do you see a 0.1 being this record's limit?
I actually haven't played this track in a while, but the record can surely go down a bit more.
Thanks for hopping on for a quick Q&A. Hope to see more of you in the future. The best known splits for this run show that as good as a 146.4 is, there is still some decent room for improvement. Panda and Army each hold a stake in the best known time, with the latter posting the fastest known closing lap. Of the two laps that can actually be faster, the world record laps 1 and 3 each have around a tenth of a second that can be knocked off, with Panda's lap 2 being the best known split. Taking nearly 2/10 of a second off an already pretty optimized world record is no easy task. Even taking a quarter of a second off that is tough. But that time is up for grabs, and with two players having a share of the best known time, you wonder exactly who will take initiative to make that happen. The worldwide top 10 consists of 5 national and 4 continental record holders. Panda is repping Australia at the top, a few tenths back is Army, and in third we have Japanese player Song Yuki. The rest of the 146s consist of S, C, and Alberto going 4 through 6. American record holder Discrea sits in 7th, just a hundredth of a second behind him is Japanese player Yorika, and in 9th place we have Japanese player No War. Rounding out the top 10 is Vincent, over 7/10 of a second back from their world record. Now, Panda is relatively new to this course, so we don't really have any indicators for how strong this world record might be. It's stayed at the top since January, but there's no telling what the rest of this leaderboard is up to. Army could potentially swoop in and take the top spot away, just like that. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. That's all for episode 73. Hope you found it interesting. Shout out Panda for coming back for a quick Q&A. Happy to have you on anytime. If you enjoyed this video, like and share it with your friends, and comment on which course you'd like me to analyze next. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.